Batelli's in 15th spot. Almanza then, as they power out of the Shrubin, one of the fastest parts of this Aston circuit, wide open here, full gas on a Moto3 bike as Patama trying to line up a move on Quiles through 6 and 7. This would be a real brave attack as Kelso then now. There's going to be no way through into the right-hander of Stekenval. This is through 8 we go.
Morelli's lost another place now. He's back to 9th. We've got another Honda getting stuck into the action here, and that is Jesus Rios as Pratama's having a look up the inside of us. We're on board with the championship leader Quiles, and Pratama now up into 2nd place, with the Hondas really getting stuck in here. We've got Pratama 2nd, we've got Kelso running 4th, we've now got Jesus Rios, who has come from outside the top 20 on the grid. He's now up into 9th.
Oh, Veda is going to be leading this Grand Prix very, very short. Oh, what a move! That is a real bold and brave move, that, isn't it? By Pratama going through the high-speed sweeps of 12 and 13. Almanza fires back through into 16. What a battle this is at the front between Almanza and Pratama. So Pratama led this Grand Prix for all of 2 corners. Almanza striking straight back. And they're going to power over the line then to complete lap 4 of 20. Almanza sets his personal best lap of the Grand Prix, a 1:41.4. Adrian Fernandez and Peroni in the top 10. They're back into the 1:40s. They've got exceptional early race pace.
Pratama's just got zero fear, as he's got so much confidence through the faster corners. There are plenty of them around this Aston circuit. He said after Brno last weekend that he needs to learn how to manage the closing stages of these races better. He's certainly not got any problems in the early stages.
Well, he's never led a full lap in a Grand Prix. He's at least led 2 corners here at one of our most classic venues here at Aston. Bit of jostling for position there in the tight left-hander of turn 5. There is Rico Salmo then, just confirmations that the long lap penalty is not usable, not operational for this Moto3 Grand Prix after the heavy overnight rain. Equivalent time penalties will be added, which equates to a 6-second penalty post race for Salmella.
And crucially, Kelso with his shortcut on the first lap. To this point, there's been no information that he's in trouble, so clearly he did lose sufficient time when he went across the Timmer chicane at the end of the first lap.
Almanza and Pratama are so good through 6 and 7, and then through Stekenval as well. They gap Quiles in 3rd place before Quiles starts to gobble the gap back up now in the fastest part of this Aston circuit. This is classic Aston. This is the part of Aston which really does get the adrenaline flowing, as Almanza then full power trying to fend off Pratama again. We know how good Pratama is in this particular part of the course. As Fernandez, that's brilliant. Fernandez and Adrian Fernandez up into 3rd place. He almost rode around the outside of Quiles there through 16. Quiles having none of that. He attacked straight away back into turn 16. Quiles then back up into P3.
Yes, Quiles is just going to trust that this race is going to come to him in the latter stages with the medium tyres he's got on. O'Gorman sets the fastest lap in 11th place. Brian Ariarte has had another shocking lap. He's now outside the points in 16.
Not sure who it was, but somebody was going straight through the Timmer chicane, so they're going to have to lose the requisite time. This is further down the field. Uriarte was almost sending himself to the moon. Got to be careful there as well. That grass is going to be super slick and slippery after all the heavy overnight rain. So from the front row of the grid, he briefly led this Grand Prix, didn't he, Brian Uriarte? He is now down in 15th.
Danish has just taken 4th as well. He favoured that tighter inside line through turns 2 and 3 and 4. The never-ending right-handers through this first sector. That got him up the inside and ahead of Adrian Fernandez. Fernandez, though, is not taking that one lying down. He's now back into 4th.
Yeah, Danish trying to find a way straight back through. You could hear the Moto3 bikes on the rev limiter there, going through 6 and 7. This is spectacular, as we knew it would be, as we hoped it would be. Further down the order, you can see Joel Esteban on the 78 bike, and now Rios getting busy once again. Morelli gets run out for paintwork. Who's that running wide into DeBolt there, turn 9? Somebody that was at sort of the back end of the point scoring positions.
Yeah, so Rios is now up 6th, 21st on the grid he qualified. He's now up into 6th place, so we've now got Hondas 2nd, 5th and 6th. As Quiles favours the outside line. Looked like Pratama lost all his momentum there coming through turn 12. It's cost him a couple of places.
Marcus Uriarte that went wide at turn 9. He's dropped back down to 19th place. So here's Almanza. We know how good he's been on the brakes into this final chicane. He stands firm in the face of this freight train that's building behind him. Well, Quiles got the chicane all wrong, particularly the exit of it. Lost all of his momentum, lost all of his drive. Danish through, and so too is Pratama. Not often you see Max Quiles flop his lines like that here.
Yeah, the Asia Talent Cup alumni ganging up there on Max Quiles, who drops to fourth, and we've already seen Adrian Fernandez not afraid to throw a few haymakers in this Moto3 battle as well. 1/3 distance. Reminder, Max Quiles' chief title rival, Alvaro Carpe, crashed earlier on. He is still running, but he's down in 21st.
That's lovely by Quiles. Turned it underneath Pratama there, and he pushes the Indonesian out a little bit wide, and that's going to give Rios a chance to maybe fire through on the slingshot, the horsepower drive, the drag race. Oh, they go side by side. Well, how many times there has Pratama rubbed elbows with Rios and Fernandez? I mean, that was like you're trying to get a blooming seat on the tube, wasn't it, in London? That was unbelievable by Pratama. Rios fires back on through. Hakim Danish, 14th to the win last time out in Brno. He's come from 16th to second here in Assen, but it's still a lot of bumping and barging behind him.
And Peroni, while that was all going on, past the lot of them. Peroni's another rider who sort of ghosted under the radar as we have contact there between Kelso and Rios. Peroni ended his 100% Q2 record yesterday, qualified 19th. He's now 4th.
Oh, Danish got superb drive out of 11. Look at this by the Malaysian in second place. Further down then we can see Casey O'Gorman charging into the top 10 with a cracking ride by the Irish rider. Trying to cut to a tighter inside line. Quiles then has got back through on Danish. Is he going to try and strike for the lead here? Levels Almanza into the braking zone for the chicane. There's no way through. This is where Almanza has been really good. He's got a lot of confidence in that Pirelli front tyre. Nobody really has been able to show them his front wheel on the run down to the Timber chicane. So Pratama then has been pushed back down to 10th at the end of that lap 8.
They're not careful. That second sort of group, that second half of the leading group, if you like, are in danger of getting detached here. Well, they're all jostling around and battling with each other. They were in the high 41s last time around. The leader, Almanza, did a 41.3. Peroni did a 41.0 to get himself right into touch, and he's having a look at the inside of it. Kelso, and
Pratama's gone down. Pratama's gone down. Well, he was getting his knees and his elbows busy on the last couple of laps to hold himself inside that top 10. But Veda Pratama, the rider 6 in the World Championship, it looks like it's potentially going to be only the second time this season he's not going to see the checker flag. So Veda Pratama, he might be able to remount that crash bike on the run down into turn 5, but his podium hope's gone as Quiles then hits the front. Max Quiles then from pole position in P1 here, made the move on turn 8 at Steckerval on Almanza.
So confirmation, as we were just about to mention before Pratama crashed, Kelso clearly did not drop enough time on that opening lap when he went wide and shortcutted the chicane, so he will also take a 3-second.
And he's just easing on the inside of Almanza. He made that look
with each other. They were in the high.
Wasn't Almanza now trying to build up some speed. What a time to ride on board with a 22. They're going to fan out 3-4. Cut to a tighter inside line. Keegan come from a mile back to get himself in this big. It was like you're trying to get a blooming seat on the tube, wasn't there? Isn't he? Surely into this final chicane as Almanza trying to find a way through on Danish. Danish got it all wrong, got it all out of shape on the brakes, didn't he? That's going to cost him on the exit.
Almanza's unbelievable, isn't he? It's that good to the chicane, and Danish was between a rock and a hard place there because he couldn't tip it in because Almanza was on his inside. It ultimately cost him so much momentum, cost him more than just one place. So Peroni now from 19th on the grid is into the podium positions. His first Moto3 podium did come here last year.
19th to 3rd. Danish has come from 16th place. A couple of riders have had to do a lot of work on those Pirelli tyres to get themselves into this position. Quiles versus Almanza at the front. We've said that on a few occasions already, haven't we, in this 2026 Moto3 World Championship. Rios still looking very strong. Alvaro Carpe, of course, who was out of podium contention very young at turn 5. He is still circulating in this Grand Prix. He's in 20th place, albeit nearly 24 seconds behind the lead group.
Boy, did Danish cut it tight there into Strubben turn 5 to reclaim that 3rd place. Pratama has now pitted, so clearly too much damage for him to continue. He'll score no World Championship points today. Pratama, of course, came into this Grand Prix 6th in the World Championship.
6th place, he might lose to Danish if Danish can find himself potentially on the podium, if not more. Look at this from Rios. We saw Rios do a couple laps inside the top 3, didn't we, in Catalonia a few weeks ago. Hasn't been able to keep himself there too often. Veda Pratama frustrating there, and that's going to be the second time in the last 3 Grand Prix where there's going to be no points for Pratama. Oh, he lost the rear, didn't he, coming out of 4. And then the momentum as he slid into turn 5. As Almanza there, top of your picture, finds a way through on Quiles into if Danish can find himself potentially on the podium, if not more. Look at this from Rios. We saw Rios do a couple laps inside the top three, didn't we, in Catalonia a few weeks ago. Hasn't been able to keep himself there too often. Veda ega frustrating there, and that's going to be the second time in the last 3 Grand Prix where there's going to be no points for Batama. Oh, he lost the rear, didn't he, coming out of fourth. And then the momentum as he slid in. Hasn't been able to keep himself there too often. Veda ega. Yeah, O'Gorman loved that. He just said thank you very much. Peeny then has a 3-second time penalty to add to his eventual race time after he's exceeded track limits. Peeny has just been pushed out of the point scoring places. Actually, he's down in 17th place now. He's been picked off easily by both Ogden and Yamanaka. Back at the front then, Danish, we're looking at on the 13 bike. Some scrap he's having at the moment with Rios. Just a little bit of a break here being made by this top 4. Almansa's lead over Quiles at the start of this lap 10 of 20. Halfway stage about to be completed was as high as 0.4 of a second. Quiles has found 0.2 back on him.
Got to be already impressed by the rookies in this. Danish third, we've got Rios fourth, and soon we might have Salmela in fifth. He's now right up behind Adrian Fernandez. Of course, he's not really in this battle to a certain extent, is Salmela, because whatever happens, he'll take a 6-second penalty. That would drop him, even from where he is in 6th, would drop him all the way out of the points.
His first 5 or 6 laps when it started getting messy and scrappy for Brian Uriarte as Quiles. Well, Pratama got Almansa there going through the high-speed turn 12. This time around, Quiles comes through. Danny's also picks his way through on Almansa. Brian Uriarte's messy, scrappy couple of laps a few laps ago has dropped him down to 11th place, and he's been detached in that 11th spot as well. So it's Quiles from pole. Oh, Danish has made a real meal of the chicane. He's going to get swallowed up here by Rios. Almansa had to check up there, and that's given Quiles a little bit of a breather here. Quiles with that medium rear tyre now up to perfect working temperature. He's completely unaware of behind him. Danish may do a couple of
moments here as a
few weeks ago.
Once again,
keep himself there too often.
Shake of the head for shake of the head. We need to stop Quiles from breaking away. We need to stop Quiles from breaking away. Almansa now, 2 places lost in 2 corners for Rios, second down to 4th.
What does Rios expect? This is Moto3. This is some of the hardest and most cutthroat racing on the planet. He might not have liked it, but Hakim Danish is going to care one bit, isn't he? As he comes under pressure here through 6 and 7 from abreast here, aren't they? From Almansa, are going to care one bit, isn't he? As he on a few occasions already.
He has to drop a second, otherwise he'll take a 3-second time penalty. So Danish had to make the corner, but it cost him dearly.
Yeah, that's mentioned. Almansa, his speed down to go, drops him down to straight on the Grand Prix calendar, and it's plus, albeit straight on the Grand Prix calendar. He made that look solid of this Grand Prix so far. We're on lap 11 of 20 into the second half and now of this chapter 10 in 2026. The gap is going to be close to 0.7 of a second. Yet if these two, or if this group behind Quiles continue to push and shove themselves around this Athens circuit, like that, it's just playing into the hands of Quiles, who's just able to run his lines, run his markers, and run his rhythm at the front.
Yeah, they need to call a truce, a temporary halt, have a hydration break midway through this Moto3 race and just focus on what's ahead of them. Almansa did get a very good run, though, through that final chicane and actually set his personal best lap of the race, a 1:40.990. Almansa recognising the danger here. He had
to, because Quiles had successive PB laps from the World Championship leader, so Almansa had to dip himself back in those 140s. Oh, they're bunching up here, aren't they, going through turn 3. Peroni there thought about a move on the inside of Fernandez. Further down the order, Brian Uriarte's just set his best lap of the Grand Prix, a 1:41.313, but Uriarte, as mentioned, has been detached outside the top 10. Morelli and Uriarte, we expected a lot more from. They're 10th and 11th on the road, and they have been dropped by this lead group. Yeah, personal best for Brian Uriarte, but the damage long since done. He's 3.4 seconds off the lead. Almansa has closed that gap straight back down up to Quiles. He's now right on his rear tyre again as Danish goes a little bit wide through 7. He's desperately trying to jump across this gap himself. Yeah, is this pace from Quiles and Almansa just a little bit too hot for the chasing pack? It's Danish then at the front of this second group. He's got Rios for company behind him. Those two have already had their arguments and squabbles as Fernandez sends it on the inside of Salmela into turn 10. They'll keep it right there now through 11, and then you just feed the power back on to start this high-powered sweep through 12, 13, 14. There is Danish sent in 3rd place. Almansa Almanza's got the inside line. Lovely. He's got the inside line. Nothing the Keylers can do about this through 15 we go. Then the fast left-hander. Keylers tried to go level on the brakes in the final corner, but this is the strongest part of the course for Almanza. You're going to have to be brilliant on the brakes to deny Almanza into the chicane.
And that's all great news for the Danish group as well. Danish did a 41.1, his best lap for quite some time, and he's now closing back in. Of course, he's dragging a train of riders along with him. Rios fourth, then Fernandez, who's back in. It's Peroni now who leads the Tech 3 pair. Salmela with his 6 seconds to add on. Kelso right behind him has 3 seconds to add on later on.
Class this by Almanza. A 1:40.9 has been followed by a 1:40.865. That's back-to-back best laps of the Grand Prix for the Spanish rider, who is still not really fully fit after that elbow fracture that he suffered in that high side when he was leading in Goiânia. But he is riding out of his skin once again here. Keyless trying to pick up some slipstream as they slingshot through turn 7 now.
Morelli is just bringing himself gently back into play at the top of the picture. He's just closing in slightly on O'Gorman as Keyless dials up the inside once again into Steckerbal. He takes the lead from David Almanza. If you're Danish, Rios or Fernandez in that group further back, you want these two to engage as much as possible to slow this pace up again.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. These two, Keyless and Almanza, have been the cream of a very exciting crop of young talents in this year's Moto3 World Championship. They starred in one of the closest ever Moto3 finishes in Buriram, didn't they? This was brilliant by Keyless. Nothing that Almanza could do about that. Keyless so strong on the brakes into turn 8. Is Almanza going to be close enough to make that killer move on Keyless through 15? Not on this occasion, but we know how good Almanza is on the brakes into the chicane. Is he going to try an attack on the inside? No. Sat in the middle of the circuit there, wasn't he, Keyless? He was not going to leave any door open for Almanza. He knows how good Almanza is into the timber chicane, not giving him a sniff.
Rios took some punishment there into the final chicane. Fernandez passed him, and now the two Tech 3 KTMs are also ganging up on him. Salmela and Peroni both having a go at Rios as Almanza closes in into the first quarter. It is still a leading group of 10 riders back to Morelli on the second of the Aspar machines.
Yeah, with Pini's 3-second penalty incoming, that will drop him outside of the point scoring places. He's currently 13th, but he'll slip behind Batelli and Yamanaka. Eddie O'Shea just out the point scoring places in 16th spot. Lead group then power through and now out of the Struben. Turn 5. Looks like Keyless, Almanza and now Danish. Yeah. Danish has made this a lead group of 3. It's now Fernandez at the head of the second group, but they're in danger of getting cut adrift here.
Yeah, we've got Almanza, who's come from a lowly for him, 6th place on the grid. Keyless, your pole sitter, but it's easy to forget that Haki Danish started this Grand Prix of the Netherlands in 16th place on the grid. Surely he's not going to take back-to-back victories from outside the front 4 rows of the grid.
Salmela in 6th place, so he's now up into 5th. Over the line, he was 1.2 seconds off your race leader, Keyless, but of course with the incoming 6-second penalty, that's going to actually put Salmela outside of the point scoring places himself, so every single 10th of a second is priceless right now for Rico Salmela, who's going to be denied the chance maybe to score his first ever World Championship podium. On board then with Almanza. He's so good through 50. We know how good he is now on the brakes. Look at the floating grandstand on the left-hand side of your picture. What a view that is of one of the most spectacular parts of any Grand Prix circuit. Once again, you can see how much time Almanza close on Keyless on the brakes. Keyless there flirting with the green through the chicane as well.
Danish also, like Keyless, in the 140s on the last lap. A 40.8 for Danish, 40.82 for Peroni, who's 5th up behind Fernandez. So this chase group are doing their level best here to make this a 10-rider fight at the front of the field again. You can see how much Danish is pushing in 3rd place. He's as fast as he's been in the entire Grand Prix. Fastest rider on track at the moment in 3rd place.
Quality ride this, isn't it, as well, by Adrian Fernandez, who's been a little bit demotivated, understandably so, after his hopes of a top 3 finish in the World Championship this year were completely derailed after he was DQ'd from 6 Grand Prix for Tampere. Keyless then, we spotted, didn't we, on board with Almanza. He was on the green then, coming through that chicane, so he does have the track limits warning. Once again, Danish looked like he was starting to make some big inroads towards the 2 Spaniards ahead of him, but again, Almanza and Keyless just getting the hammer down that little bit extra, and there's now, a dozen bike lengths back to the 13.
Is Hakim Danish just on his limit, staying with the leading pair? Can't really get on terms with them unless they start battling with each other. Fernandez is trying to jump across that gap himself. We've got Hondas running 4th and 5th now. Fernandez and Rios, Jesus Rios, if he can hang on to this, it would be the best result of his Moto3 career so far.
Uriarte is going to be livid with himself for the couple of mistakes he had early on in this Grand Prix, because he's got down to what is podium pace. He's doing 141.2s. Is Uriarte. He's been stuck though in 11th place for the vast majority of this Grand Prix now. He's 1.7 seconds behind Marco Morelli. Morelli, who's got back through on O'Gorman for 9th place.
Yes, so the riders 7th, 8th and 9th are either got penalties or track limits warnings. Morelli, like Quiles, his teammate has a track limits warning. He's now past O'Gorman at the back of the picture. Morelli generally so strong at the end of Grand Prix, isn't he? But has he left this too late? Kelso
and Rios are both back in the 140s. That's very impressive pace by those two, isn't it? As they're in that sort of second group now. Danish looking pretty strong there in 3rd place, looking for back-to-back podium finishes here, isn't he?
Mansa on course here to move up into 3rd in the World Championship. If he can even take 2nd place, he'd close right in. He'd be only 12 points behind Carpe for 2nd in the World Championship. Carpe still circulates and just hoping that a few riders drop out to promote him into the points. At the moment, no sign of that happening. Yeah, and if he hangs on to this 3rd place, it will easily move Danish into the top 6 in the standings. He'll jump ahead of Pratama, who of course is missing from this Grand Prix after his high side at turn 4. Oh, Rios squeezes through on Fernandez. There was not much room there, was there? But he took it, and Rios on the 54 by then is Fernandez. Well, you just know that Adrian Fernandez is not going to take that one lying down. And now through De Bolt, through turn 9, Fernandez immediately back on through. Yeah, he's also been given a track limits warning now as Adrian Fernandez. Carpe has now pitted and pulled into the end of the race. I guess we passed the red flag cut-off now, so Carpe clearly has decided that there's no value in carrying on.
And that could mean Max Quiles will be not far off being almost 100 points clear in the World Championship if he can take what is 6th win in the opening 10 Grand Prix, put himself in the perfect position to do so. Going to be very shortly, just 4 laps to go here in Assen. Rios has run through the chicane, looking to try and surrender the equivalent time that he needs to. Just trying to find a safe rejoin there, wasn't he, Rios? That was quite smart by the young Spaniard, dropping back down to 8th place though.
Devastation for Alvaro Carpe, who has been so consistent, but that is his 2nd non-score of the season. There was the damage to the screen, but damage to his World Championship prospects are much greater today for Alvaro Carpe.
And it was all of his own doing, wasn't it, when he tagged Morelli right here, very early on in this Grand Prix. So Denise at the moment sort of stuck behind him as the top 2 that now this does look like it's emerging into potentially another Titanic finish, another grandstand finish between Quiles and Almanza. Leo Ramersdorfer has tumbled out of 19th place further down the order.
Yeah, there's a bit of an irony. Just as Carpe does pull in, someone does drop out of the race that would have promoted him up at least 1 place closer to the points. Danish potentially just coming under a little bit of pressure here, is he, from Adrian Fernandez? Fernandez has closed the gap through this 2nd sector, so Danish hasn't got a podium sewn up yet.
Yeah, it looks like at best it may well be a podium here for Danish. Quiles so good. He got superb drive, did he, coming out of turn 11. He should have the advantage at this late stage of the Grand Prix. He's the only rider that's got that medium Pirelli rear tyre fitted. So in terms of endurance, in terms of durability, he should have the slight upper hand on Almanza, as Danish was a little bit wide there, wasn't he, coming through 50. He was almost on the green himself. Further down the order, there's a bit of a British battle going on for the final point scoring place. Eddie O'Shea and Scott Ogden 14th and 15th. Morelli, once again, Morelli's so good. He's like the Ayagura in MotoGP and Moto3, isn't he? So good on worn tyres. As Almanza trying to show a wheel to Quiles. Morelli just said he spatted up the Grand Prix. He's the only rider on circuit now, Morelli. It's in the 140s up to 8th.
Yeah, he's 8th on the road, but he's effectively 6th in sort of aggregate time, if you like. So of course we've got 2 riders ahead of him, Kelso and Salmela, who have time penalties to be added at the end of this Grand Prix. But Morelli, as Marcos Uriarte, teammates on Almanza, crashes out of the Grand Prix, there's a chance of potentially getting as high as 3rd or 4th here for Morelli.
It's a pretty rapid get-up at the first corner for Marcos Uriarte. For Austrian fans, Ramersdorfer has rejoined the Grand Prix, but of course nowhere near the point-scoring places now for him. Yeah, now Danish is in trouble. Danish could be getting swallowed up here. Has he just taken too much out of those Pirelli tyres initially to get himself from 16th on the grid up into as high as 2nd? And now to try and go with Almanza and Quiles, is he paying for that early aggression as Morelli's charge continues? He goes on the inside now, Fernandez into De Bolt.
Yeah, Morelli could just cruise through this slot up into third place if he plays his cards right, because Danish is really backing the Tech 3 KTMs up of Peroni and Salmela. Of course, Salmela needs to try and clear this quickly and get off up the road because he's got a 6-second handicap.
Fernandez got to be careful there, running over the wet grass. He
Salmela is through.
Did he at all? Salmela then, and of course, with the 6-second post-race penalty to be added to his overall aggregate time, is now up into third place. And look at this by Morelli. He is so good. Has to be one of the quicker rides in Moto3, doesn't he, on warm Pirelli tyres. Danish said he's going the wrong way. Looks like Danish has just no grip underneath him whatsoever. He was third at the start of that last lap, crosses the line in 6th place.
I think Morelli's taking third place. He looked like he was up the inside of Salmela. I think he's going to have no time left, though, to try and chase down this top 2. But there's no question that he is the superior rider at the end of this Grand Prix. Just lost way too much time when he dropped to the bottom of the top 10 earlier on.
Kelso is still in 9th place, but of course with the 3 seconds he's got to add to his race time, he'll be pushed back down to 12th. So out of the top 10 will go the Australian from the front row of the grid. This has been brilliant once again by Morelli. He comes through the field like a hot knife through butter, doesn't he? What about Almanza then? It is one of these two for your win here in Assen. They are long clear with about a lap and a half to go here in the Grand Prix of the Netherlands. There is Morelli then now trying to make it a double Aspar podium. What Peroni fights it back through on Salmela.
I think it's Peroni back through. Salmela with the penalty to come, so he's now running 5th. It would still put him into the points with those 6 seconds now added because of the split in the leading group. If you add the 6 seconds now onto Rico Salmela, he would still finish in 12th place.
Yeah, Danish is getting a little bit duffed around here late on. A late tracking this morning from Matteo Bertelli. He just picked up 13th place ahead of Ryusai Yamanaka. Just moving out your picture there on the Fast Royanders was your top 2, Quiles and Almanza. Well, they've been the cream of the crop, haven't they, so far this year, no question about that. This is not a given that Ronnie can make it a double ass. Quiles versus Almanza. Morelli hanging on to 3rd.
They've gone head-to-head on a couple of occasions already this season. Season opener in Buriram. Almanza beat Quiles. They went head-to-head in Hungary. That occasion, Quiles beat Almanza. The crucial thing here for Almanza, if he waits that long, is to be strong through the Ramschuk and to try and get himself up the inside of Quiles into that get to Michigan.
Max Quiles, already a 5-time winner in this year's Moto3 World Championship, an 8-time winner in his short Moto3 career. Once again, he's kept this perfect record going, hasn't he? He has led in every single Grand Prix so far this year. Top marks, 10 out of 10 for Quiles. Is it going to be maximum 25 points at the end of this Grand Prix? It is going to be another last lap thriller between the killer Quiles and Almanza.
Well, he made a mistake on the final lap last weekend, didn't he, when he ran into the back of someone whilst battling for the victory. Nobody ahead of Max Quiles this time. He's just trying to hit every apex, hit every braking marker, and ask Almanza to push beyond the limit to pass it.
Oh, and Almanza has the big twitch there as he tries to be aggressive going through turn 9. There's a penalty incoming for Adrian Fernandez. 3 seconds will be added to his race time for track limits. Hakim Danish has been really suffering late on in this Grand Prix. He's now back down in 8th place, obviously chewed up his tyres trying to go in this league group, and now it looks like Quiles once again has this one covered off. Into this super fast final sector we go. And it is the super fast Spaniard that is going to clinch his 6th win in 10 Grand Prix so far in 2026. Through the final chicane he goes, all neat and tidy, and Max Quiles once again wins in 2026. It is win number 6 of 26 for Max Quiles, the Spanish rider who is stretching his world champion lead up to nearly 100 points at the end of round 10. Almanza does take 2nd place. The perfect weekend then for Quiles. Pole position, the race win here in Assen. Marco Morelli does indeed make it an Aspar at 1 and 3. 2 bikes on the podium for the Valencia-based team. Peroni over the line in 4th. Salmela is going to be 5th in the standings, but of course there's going to be a 6-second penalty coming their way for Salmela. Kelso over the line in 6th. He's got 3 seconds to add to his race time, so I think host Jesus Rios is going to be 5th.
Yeah.
He's going to push up to 5th ahead of Salmela and Kelso. There's a penalty as well for Adrian Fernandez.
Ariarte will go to 6th, won't he, from 9th with those penalties to come.
So
I think
Danish,
Salmela will be 12th in the end.
Yeah, Danish then did suffer late on. He crossed the line in 10th spot, but he's going to be up in 7th. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of chopping and changing to that order on the left-hand side of your screens. And what is not in any doubt whatsoever is Max Quiles signs off Assen with another stunning performance. He has been simply sensational once again. Look at that, 90 points clear is his lead in the standings, going to the halfway point in the sack swing next time out. Alvaro Carpe, who didn't finish that Grand Prix, is now, after just 10 Grand Prix, the only rider within 100 points of Max Quiles, who makes it win number 9 in Moto3, cloud 9 for Quiles.
And once again, this year, if he doesn't win a Moto3 Grand Prix, you can guarantee Max Quiles will win the next. He certainly knows how to respond from a setback, doesn't he? And setbacks for Max Quiles are seconds and thirds. Once he hit the front of this Grand Prix, pushed all the way by the brave Almanza in second place, he was praying that Quiles would cough up a mistake, but Quiles was not making any mistakes this time.
Once again, the only rider that could really give Quiles a contest, it was David Almanza. Credit again to the Dynavolt intact rider. Superb second place from Almanza. Marco Morelli. Well, Jack spoke to the boss, Nico Tirol, the Aspar team manager, Tirol on the grid. They were very confident of a double podium. That is exactly how it panned out. There was fireworks further back, was there? The battle for third place. Yeah, Peroni was all in there, wasn't he? And look at this, Kelso's going to pick off Rios. Rios then finishing behind Salmela and Kelso on the road, but Rios will move up into 5th place.
Yeah, we're now getting penalty started by. So they've added Salmela's on, he's back to 11. With Kelso and Fernandez to serve their penalties. Rios will be 5th, and Uriarte will take 6th.
Well, it's been a dream Sunday here at the Cathedral of Speed for Aspar. They expected a double podium. That's exactly what they got. Nico, throw with Jack.
Nico, you told me on the grids that you said double podium was up for grabs today. That's exactly what you've got. Brilliant from Max again, and what a recovery ride from Marco.
Wow, like I told you in the grid, it's like a dream. Both riders in the podium, and also a moment, because after some races that he see the podium, but with some little mistakes, this is perfect for his confidence. We are super happy.
A brilliant day for the team. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Now it's time to enjoy.
It is time to enjoy these very special moments for Jorge Martinez Aspar's Valencia-based squad, because Max Quiles takes the checkered flag over half a second clear of Almanza. We are now getting the reshuffling of the pack behind your top two with the post-race penalties added. It does mean Jesus Rios takes a brilliant 5th place. Brian Uriarte jumps up inside the top 6 to 6. Danish was over the line in 10th, he's 7th. Kelso lost 3 seconds and finishes 8th. Adrian Fernandez lost 3 seconds and finishes 9th. Casey O'Gorman then is 10th. Rico Salmela, in many respects, the big loser, because he was right in that podium battle. And after 20 really hard laps, 20 impressive laps from the Finn, not even the top 10.
Yeah, and you can see how gutted he was with that at the end of it, because of course just the nature of the race we got today. Had he served the long lap penalties on the track, he might well have caught back up to that leading group again, but didn't have the opportunity today. Esteban 12th, Yamanaka gets points, so does Patelli, and there was a photo finish between the Brits for the final point. It went the way of Eddie O'Shea.
Well, there's another record that's gone the way of Max Quiles. Now the most points scored in the first 10 Grand Prix of a Moto3 season, topping the late great Louis Salom. 211 points from the opening 10 rounds of the season. We are potentially witnessing one of the greatest single seasons in Grand Prix history unfolding right before our very eyes. David Almanza, as he so often does, he's a tough, gritty little cookie, isn't he? Almanza, he tried to hunt Quiles down on that final lap, but once again, Max Quiles just too strong. Very soon, he's going to be just the 7th rider in Moto3 history to have a win tally that topples double figures. That was win number 9. I think we've got David Alonso, Romano Fenati, Joan Mir, Jose Antonio Rueda, Dennis Foggia and Jaume Masia They've had at least 10 Grand Prix wins in Moto3. I think very, very soon, possibly at our next Grand Prix in the Sachsenring, and we'll be adding Max Quiles to that club as well. Once again, it's absolutely sensational late race pace, which fires Morelli to the podium. A brilliant job by the Argentinian. Not just Leo Messi is making sporting headlines back in Argentina.
Yeah, if he can figure out the first half of races, he's going to be very difficult to beat himself, isn't he, Marco Morelli? Because there's no question that at the end of Moto3 battles, he is the rider with the superior closing pace. Double points finish then for M-Lab for the grid squad today. Kelso, 8th actually, a heck of a result given that he had a 3-second penalty when he was in that battle for the podium. And as mentioned, Eddie O'Shea beating his fellow Brit Scott Ogden to the final point by just 12 thousandths of a second.
Exactly say that both of them are particularly happy with 8th and 15th, can you? As the grid racing team look on. Yeah, Morelli's first podium in 6 Grand Prix since he was also 3rd at the Spanish Grand Prix in Jerez. But Max Quiles, well, there's been only 1 Grand Prix so far this year, and we saw how angry he was to miss out on not just the podium but the win in Mugello. But other than that, it has just been podiums after podiums after podiums after podiums. Quite astonishing performance by Quiles. Big smile on his face, and with good reason. Marco Morelli's first podium in 6 Grand Prix. A great late race pace. What a charge from Morelli. He's with Jack.
Marco, what a brilliant final few laps they were. You were just inside the top 10, but battled your way through to take what I imagine is a huge podium. Nico saying after some difficult moments, how much does this podium mean?
Yeah, to be honest, it was super difficult race. At the beginning, I started really quite well, which is important for us because in the last races, the start was completely disaster. I lost a lot of positions, so we managed well. But the problem is in the half of the race, I had a mega chata on the front. I lost a lot of grip on the right side, and I said, well, this is done to me. I cannot do anything more. But in the end, I noticed if I change my riding style, was better and don't have chata, no? So in the end, I try to manage this. I adapt. I go faster again. And in the end, I take the podium. Incredible, because I can guarantee you, and in the middle of the race, I say, okay, this is top 10, and I will never say this, but hopefully some crash will help me, no? But in the end, I do it by myself. It's really nice and happy. Say thank you to all the people, to my team, because they believe on me. We had a few races that we was struggling a bit more, and now this is the gift. Great ride today, well done, thank you.
Yeah, cracking ride that by Morelli. He has scored points in all 10 Grand Prix so far this season. 7 times he's finished inside the top 10. An Argentinian won a Grand Prix here in Assen back in 2005. Sebastian Porto in the 250cc race on the top step on that occasion. And you'll see the Argentinian flag waving proudly above the podium once again here in the Grand Prix of the Netherlands. You heard it from Morelli there himself. He thought it was maybe going to be at best a top 10. But what a charge he produced in those last 5 or 6 laps. He was arguably the quickest rider on circuit. Impressive pace. He was charging his way through some pretty heavy traffic. Adrian Fernandez, well, he exceeded it. Well, sorry, Guido Pini, his teammate, exceeded the track limit on the last lap, demoted 1 position. He'd already got a 3-second penalty as well for Hanni Pini. So he gets classified in 18th place. Pretty dramatic day once again for Leopard Racing. Both of their riders getting sanctions in that Grand Prix. David Almansten strong once again, but his second to Quiles here in Assen. Let's get his thoughts with Jack.
David, another brilliant ride to get onto the podium, pushing Max all of the way. In the end, it looked as though that harder compound rear tyre for Max just paid the difference in those final 3 laps. How pleased are you with your efforts?
Yes, of course, this was a very good weekend to prepare the race. And I started very strong. My feeling with the bike was perfect, I think. And yes, I pushed in the limit lap by lap. And later in the finish laps, I need a little bit with the rear tire. because I have the soft one. But well, I prepared very well the last sector, but in entering the left corner, I lose the rear part and I lose all. But well, it was a very good weekend and we are very happy.
Top job today.
Thank you.
Yeah, as he mentioned, thanks Jack, thanks to David Almanza, it was just that mistake, wasn't it, at turn 9, the bolt on the last lap as he was trying to set himself up for a chicane attack on Quiles. We know how good Almanza was on the brakes into that final chicane, but unfortunately, we were denied that thrilling finale because it was just that crucial mistake. He was trying to be eager to get on the power, wasn't he, through 9 to set himself up for an attack through the final sector where he'd been strong throughout that Grand Prix, to be fair to Almanza. But Max Quiles, once again, has been phenomenal. Quiles with his 6th win of 2026. He's with Jack.
Max, victory number 6 of 2026. You've won in every way possible this year, but to do it around this historic venue at Assen, just talk us through what a moment this is.
Yeah, it's always special to win here. So happy with the race. I was comfortable at the beginning, so I said, okay, maybe I don't push now. I leave energy for the end. And yeah, then I said, okay, I think now is the turn to push. I'm going to push and try what happens. And I saw they were struggling behind, so I said, okay, let's keep pushing. And yeah, I could open some gap. Almanza was really fast, but in the last lap I pushed even more. And yeah, I could win it. So it's always special here in Assen. This is a historic track. I've always seen it on TV, and I was saying one day I want to win here, and we did it. So thanks to all the people that they were cheering a lot, and it's really hot. So thanks to them. Yeah, let's keep going.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, the TT Circuit Assen, you speak to any rider, it's one of those hallowed venues that they really do want to have success at. Max Quiles then now can add the Dutch Grand Prix to his rapidly expanding winning trophy cabinet. That was the key move he made at turn 8 at Steckenval. And despite David Almanza pushing as hard as he could, he was on the limit. Quiles took it by a relatively comfortable half a second. Job done once again by a rider who's doing a bit of a number on the Moto3 field at the moment, isn't he? 90 points. 90 points. Quiles has established his lead in the standings. We're not even at the halfway point of this year's World Championship. It's the most points any rider has collected after 10 Grand Prix in Moto3 history. We're looking at a rider that is building towards, arguably, not just one of the greatest seasons in Moto3, but one of the greatest individual seasons in Grand Prix history. No back-to-back wins, no back-to-back podiums for Hakim Danish. At one stage, we were holding that dream, weren't we, as he fought his way through it from 16th to 2nd. But it looked like Danish just took too much out of those Pirelli tyres to get himself into contention. Still another quality ride, still a brilliant ride for Danish. 16th to 7th, and he does indeed move up into 6th place in the championship, with Veda ega crashing out of podium contention very early in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, this was when Denish's afternoon started to career downhill, having got up into 2nd place, wide of the chicane, which cost him that 2nd place, and well, he had just taken too much out of his Pirelli rubber, making that progress of the order suffered in the latter stages. But with that trio of post-race penalties, he does at least salvage a 7th place in the end. But once again, serving notice as to what a threat he's going to be, not just for the rest of the season, but into next year in Moto3. I think the field will all be very happy that Max Quiles won't be a part of this class anymore, with the expectation that he'll be moving up surely to Aspar's Moto2 squad for next season, given that they are going to have 2 vacancies opening up in that class. So many records that Max Quiles will surely have in sight now in the second half of this season. Of course, the first job for him is to win the World Championship. 6 wins already to his name. Record for most wins in a season could yet potentially come his way. The most podiums in a season very much within his reach. He's already up to 9. The record is 15. So 6 in the remaining 12 Grand Prix to equal it, 7 to beat it. Who would bet against him at the moment? So Martinez Aspar joins his 2 riders up on the podium. It's the 3rd time now this season that the Aspar pair